Hi guys. Everyone says Enneacraft is too slow to play right now. They are right. But I found a way to build this deck from under $100 that still can compete with the current meta. I do have a few secret tech cards in this deck that allows me to stun my opponent. This is a deck profile of Enneacraft Stun. So let's get right into it. For the babies, I am running two of the Trito Enneacraft. It has a trigger effect where if it's flipped face up, it lets me search a card from the archetype itself. But the flip effect of it, the secondary effect, is it destroys one spell or trap card my opponent controls. And if I do, it changes a continuous. It continuously switches it back to face on defense. The next card I have two of is the Protos Enneacraft. The trigger effect is when an opponent activates a monster effect in the hand, I can flip it face up. When it is flipped, it does let me add a Enneacraft card from deck to hand, but also the flipped effect is it lets me destroy a monster my opponent controls. The second two ofs that I have is the Diff Trio Enneacraft. It has a trigger effect when an opponent activates an effect that adds a card from the deck to the hand. I could flip it face up, and then lets me add a monster from and lets me add an Enneacraft card from deck to hand. Then the flipped effect is it randomly banishes one card from my opponent's hand face up until the end phase. For my three ofs, I'm running three Icto Enneacraft. The trigger effect is when an opponent activates an effect that special summons a monster, I could flip it face up and lets me add a Enneacraft card from deck to hand. The flip effect, the secondary effect, is it negates the effect of one effect monster on the field until the end of the turn. Then the last of the three ofs that I have is the green spaceship, the Inato Enneacraft. The trigger effect is when an opponent activates an effect in the graveyard or banishment. It lets me flip it face up and add an Enneacraft card from deck to hand. Then the flip effect is it shuffles up to 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard or banishment back into the deck. This is really good for disrupting anything my opponent does. Lets me mess up certain plans that they have, especially if they're trying to trigger some stuff from the grave and add to hand or shuffle back into deck. This does stop it really fast. The one thing that all of my Enneacraft small ships do have is the pendulum effect, where I pay 900 life points. It searches me 3 Enneacraft cards. I shuffle those 3 and my opponent has to choose one for me to add to hand. Moving on to the level 9 boss monsters. The first one I have is the spider one. As a quick effect, when my opponent activates a card or effect as chaining 3 or higher, if it's flipped face up to complete to negate and destroy all prior cards activation in that chain. So if I go chain 2, chain 3, and I flip this guy up, anything before him is completely negated. Then it has a continuation status. Once flipped, opponents cannot activate card effects in response to your card or effects activation. So once he is flipped face up, he can any card that tries to target any card on my side is immediately negated with this guy on my side of the field. The next card I'm going to go to is the lion one, the Leo. Enneacraft Leo. Quick effect, flips up when an opponent responds to your card activation. So I could flip him up when somebody is targeting my cards for any type of activation. The effect of it, when flip, it bounces up to 3 cards from the field back into the hand, which is really good if I need to reset some cards on my side, or if I just want to get rid of whatever he has on the side of the field. Next card is the Enneacratf, the Scorpion. It has a quickie flip, flips face up to shield your cards from destruction effects. So Raigeki, Dark Hole, monsters that have similar effects to Raigeki or Dark Hole, this guy protects them. And then it has a flipped effect where it imposes a continuous burn effect that deals 900 damage to my opponent whenever a monster is sent to their graveyard. Any monster sent to the graveyard, whether they're link summoning, fusion summoning, ritual summoning, they immediately take 900 points of damage. It's a really good way to burn my opponent. The next card I have is my Enneacraft Pixela. It has a quick flip up to negate an effect that targets your cards. Then once flip, it has the effect of permanently banishing 1 random card from your opponent's hand face down. It is a permanent banishment. It does not come back. The next card I have is a 2-of, which is the big boy himself, my Enneacraft Mar. Quickie flip, flips face up to negate and destroy an opponent's card effect activation on the field during my turn. Then it has a continuous flip effect where it's a flip, all of my opponent's monsters to face down and locks their battle position. Once he is flipped face up, whatever board my opponent has, all of the cards are flipped face down and they cannot use them for anything unless directed or unless a card effect says so. Similar to what the small ships do, the pendulum effects of all of my big ship guys is that when any card is flipped face up, they get a counter. And there's a field spell that I run, an Enneacraft field spell, that does damage for the counters that these guys have on them. Moving on to the spells. I played 2 Enneacraft resets. The effect is activate directly to search for your field spell. If the field spell is already activated on my side of the field, it acts as a scalping negate tool, wiping the effects of face up opponent cards up to the number of cards sitting in my pendulum zone. So if I have 1, it negates 1. If I have 2, it negates 2. Reason why I have 2 is still testing this card out. The next card coming up is my Enneacraft Revert. The field effect, shuffle any number of Enneacraft monsters from your hand or face-up field into the deck to draw the same amount of cards. This does include the extra deck. If they're face-up on the extra deck, it does let me shuffle them in. Then it has a graveyard effect. By banishing itself, when my opponent summons to either special summon an Enneacraft face down from my hand or instantly flip a face down monster face up. It lets me choose which one. Next, I have ENNEACRAFT Release. This lets me place an ENNEACRAFT card from my deck onto my side of the field. And it lets me search out a starter. It lets me search out a starter if I need it. If I banish this card, it does let me recur a Pendulum Enneacraft monster that's in my face up extra deck and lets me add it back to hand. Then coming up to the field spell. This is the field spell. Enneacratf. What it does is it bounces an Enneacraft monster on my side of the field back to the hand to recycle its summoning effects. During the end phase, if my big Enneacraft monsters have any counters on them, it lets me destroy those counters to deal 900 points of damage per counter that it removes. So if one of mine has 5 counters on it, 9 times 5 is already 4,000 or 45. It lets me burn them for that much life points. If I have 2, it's pretty much a game at that point. Running, now going to be giving you the non-Enneacraft engine cards that I run. First, starting off with the hand traps, I run 2 Ghost Bell. This is really good for graveyard reliant decks, like the new Light and Darkness ritual cards that have that spell card. This does stop the spell card because it is targeting the graveyard, and so it does help out a lot. The second best card in the deck, which is a tribute summon, is Aborg the Mega Monarch. By attributing a light monster, I could, depending on the level of the light monster, that's how many extra deck cards I could banish from my opponent's extra deck. Now on to my secret little cards that make this deck really work well in today's meta is the Vanity Screen and the Majesty Screen. Both of these cards cannot let me special summon or let my opponent special summon. The reason why I use these in this deck is because I'm able to bring these back to my hand, and if they are sent to the graveyard, I am able to recur them from the graveyard back into my hand as well. This does stun my opponent for a turn or 2. The next card I run is Sol and Luna. What it does is it lets me target one monster I control and one monster my opponents control. And I could apply one of the following effects. I could either flip the monster face down and mine face up, or it lets me do the vice versa. So if he has a face down card, I could flip it face up, and then I could flip my card to face down. The last card I have in my deck is the Drama Karma Cannon. It changes as many monsters on the field to face down defense, and whatever it could not, it destroys it. It's good non-target removal. Really helpful for this deck. That is my main Enneacraft deck. Now moving on to the side. I run 2 Spirit of the Fall Winds. This is my searcher for the flip effect monsters. When this guy is normal summon, it lets me search out any flip cards that I need. Reason why I have it in the side deck is in case there is a deck that I need specific cards for, I could add this on to search those specific cards. Next card I have is my Pod of the Forbidden. 2 of them. He is a big boy and he has many effects. My favorite effect of it is to draw 2 cards. but it does have other effects, like return all my spell trap cards to my hand, destroy all monsters my opponent controls. It does let me look at my opponent's hand and lets me shuffle one card back from the hand back into to the deck. He's really easy to bring out with the baby Enneacraft. By showing them, I could put him, flip him face down defense, and my opponent won't know that he's down there. For the rest of the side deck, I do have the last two Vanity Sphere. The only reason why I have the two Vanity Sphere and not the Majesty Sphere is because Vanity Sphere is a little easier to special summon. It does need one tribute for it, not two. Unlike Majesty Sphere that does need two. So in case I do need to have resources on the field, I am able to swap out the Majesty Sphere for one of these guys. To round off the rest of the side deck, I do have the last Enneacraft Will, Damar, one more Scorpion, one more Leo, and one more Pixia. I do have the last, as well, the reverse, the release, and a little side card that I enjoy a lot is the Book of Tile. It lets me target a face down monster on my side of the field and change that to face up attack, which is really good. Due to it triggering a lot of my Enneacraft monsters effects. I currently do not have an extra deck for this deck just yet. I am still working on it. But if you enjoyed what you see and you enjoy the deck profiles, please go ahead, share, comment, like. Let me know how the videos are doing, if you guys are enjoying them. I would like to give a shout out to GXGAMERS. They are the ones who helped me as well get this deck up and running. They are the local shops I go and play at. If you guys have any locals that you guys go to around Los Angeles, California area, or San Diego area, or San Bernardino area, let me know. But this was my Enneacraft deck, and I hope you guys enjoy it.